Because for table topics, you have to respond in 1 to 2 minutes.
Oh,
Did you remember that? You have to stand on stage until like the green board raised in front of you. So I hope that you can now just keep in mind what you had discussed about these questions, your experiences. I found that you have discussed these questions and have some kind of ideas. But did you find that can you use like 1 or 2 minutes to explain your ideas when you were discussing? You can think about that. Yes, because there will be the main difference between you are chatting and giving a small speech. So I'm going to say this. This is the outline for my later explanations on the tips for table topics. Basically, you will still have opening, body, and conclusion, which means basically it's a mini speech. Because you are given 2 minutes on stage, right? And you can imagine 2 minutes how many words you can say. So basically it's not like 1 or 2 sentences. It must be like 3, 4, or 5 at least. And how do you connect these sentences would be the essence of how do you give a good table topics answer. Okay, so let's begin. I will try to give you tips in each sessions. So we'll begin from the opening. So for opening, basically you will give a topic sentence at the beginning. Why so? Do you remember how to deliver a speech? A prepared speech. Usually in each of your main paragraph, you will start with a sentence, right? And that sentence usually is have already covered how you're going to say later. But it's blurred, it's not very clear what you're going to say. You just give a main idea. So this is also a feature of English. It's not like Chinese. Chinese is like a bit linear. It's a linear language. You say one thing and blah, 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 and another, and people will listen to it. But for English, it's a top-down triangle. You know what is a top-down triangle? It's like this. This is a top-down triangle. So for this triangle, the top will be a sentence that covers the meanings of how you are going to say. And then for the bottom part, the middle part, you will have some examples to support you. And then at the end, you may want to use like transition to connect to the next paragraph, or you are saying a conclusion to echo your main ideas again. Okay, this is the feature of English. So this is also can be used for table topics. So you are gives a main idea of your speech, and here I put a question mark, which may shows your stances. Let's come back to some of the questions here, like maybe this one. When you were answering these questions, did you give a very clear stances at the beginning? You know what do I mean by stances? Which means you support. You're given as 2 choices, right? Do you support A or you support B? If you support A, that is your stances. You stand for A, right? Or you stand for B, that's your stances. If you start with your speech saying that, I think job satisfaction is more important, then this sentence has shown your stances. So then later on, you are going to explain for that. Why this is more important, right? So there's a logical development of your answer. So let's start for practice. What are you most grateful for? Because today I only have you and Changting, so you alternatively come into the stage, or you can answer it right there. Just try. Yes. Use remember topic sentence.
这是我最感谢谁这样吗？
Yes. What are you most grateful for? It does not need to mean to be a person. But you're grateful for something or somebody or yeah.
So use this question to practice opening.
Yes. How do you just need to say like 1 to 2 sentences for opening.
One to two sentences.
It's enough. Yeah, you think about how to respond.
I'm most grateful for my mother. She 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 take care all our family member for many years. And so yeah, I finished the opening. Yeah.
Yes. So you start with a sentence saying, "What are you most grateful for?" You answer with your mother, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's great. How about Changting?
Yes, I will go up the stage. Yeah, then I am most grateful for it's a shame. I am most grateful for my 3C products. I love my 3C products so much. The things that I love the most are my 3C products. Okay, typing sentence, ding, and then I have an awesome cell phone which I bought 5 years ago, and as well as my iPod Touch and Bluetooth earphone, which is very cool because it is a wireless earphone. I can listen to music with it without connecting to my cell phone, as well as a power bank, which is a portable charger that can be powered by sun. So I will never afraid of the lack of electricity, even if I cannot find any charger. Yeah.
Okay, you give a response about how are you grateful for, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
But for
I have a question. So
Yes.
in the opening, we just describe the main idea. Just describe the main idea. It is okay, right?
the main idea for beginning, yes.
Just describe the main idea.
How we are practicing, because this is just the opening, right?
Yeah.
And you still have body and conclusion.
But the main idea, maybe I think the main idea is just one sentence is enough. But the second sentence, what should we say?
Yes, I think that's a good question. So for your answer, you say, "I'm grateful for my mother." Right?
Yeah.
Then you can think about, you can compare, like for example, Changting just come to the stage, right?
Yeah.
And how did she say it? Basically, he spent like 1, even 2 minutes already to say what are he most grateful for. And he lists a lot of stuff, right? And then it counts for his 2 minutes. And how about you? Because you just say you want to, you're grateful for your mother.
Yeah.
So people may expect that you explain why so. So you remember your second sentence is
it's why. Yeah.
why, and then this is your body. Basically, you are going to say about body.
So the second sentence, I describe why it is okay or what is bad.
It's okay. It's okay.
Or what is bad or anything is okay.
Definitely, it's not everything is okay. You have to remember that it's a mini speech. How do you impress people? This is important. How do you make your speech more interesting? That is important. For example, you can go onto the stage and then answering with a lot of stuff, but you don't give any explanation. That is still an answer, and you can speak for 2 minutes to fit the minimum requirements. But did you impress people? That is important. So you can think about why people are asking you this question. Think about this. If there is a person asking you, what are you grateful for? It's because he is curious about your curiosity or your personality, right? Your personality. Then they can know you more from this question.
So can I ask, how would you answer this question in 2 sentences?
I will show some of. That's why here's a blog. but definitely this is just an answer that I written. So here it say you see there are two paragraphs. So the first one is the begin for opening.
Oh.
So it's just right like you. It says among many things because the question says what are you most grateful for? Most. What does it mean by most? Most means the highest level. You means maybe one thing only. So it starts from among many things I'm grateful for. You may be grateful for a lot of stuff, right? But you are most grateful for. Here he said, my parents' child. And then later on is the explanation. And why? Because my parents give me unconditional love. Even I'm I'm not a good boy. I didn't listen to them all the time, but they still love me. They didn't judge me by my success or failure. And then blah, 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 blah. So it can be a very easy way to start with an open topic sentence. You just give a clear response at the beginning, and then use something to support you. Okay?
So it's the two sentences, the two sections your opening.
No, this one.
Just the
first.
Oh.
It's the opening.
Oh, so the second one is body.
Yes.
Oh.
You can find it clear because here you have already stated this sentence, and then these are explanation of why you are thankful for my parents' child. So you can think about this. For example, you are asked this kind of questions. For example, what is your favorite type of girl? For example, you may answer with a very clear statement, right? You say what type of girl you like and why. Okay? So this is a category. It's not these questions only. You can think about. You can answer with many questions like this. Okay? And then there's another way to answer questions. It's called self-brainstorming. It's say talk around the topic and briefly list all possibilities. Let's look at the questions, and you may be finding clear. Because here, what can you do today that we're not capable of a year ago? How would you respond? What's the first thought come to your mind? What is the first thought come to your mind?
I have no thought.
Oh, that was maybe the no thoughts, right? No thoughts. Or is it really no thoughts? What can you do today that you were not capable of a year ago? No thoughts means you can only do what you did last year. This question, right? What can you do today that you were not capable of a year ago? If you think of nothing, which means you can do only what you can do last year.
Maybe I have some thoughts.
Or you have too many thoughts.
Maybe I have some thoughts.
Some thoughts. Like several examples, right? Come to your mind.
Yeah.
Would you like to have take a chance to answer that?
I can write one. I can write one circle bicycle now, but 1 year ago I can't. Yeah.
And that's great. That's great. You come up with one thing that you can do now, but not last year, right? Okay. But is there only these things you can do this year, or there are other things you can do as well?
So should I answer many things? Should I just answer one thing for this question?
But it depends on you. I'm here providing different ways for you to respond.
Oh,
Okay.
so yeah.
So here is self-brainstorming. I provide an example here. You can take a look. For example, because you may have many, in this year you grew a lot. For example, you took many subjects this year, right? In your university. Maybe you learn more about geographic features of Taiwan, something like that, or you learn how to do finance, how to play, how to dance, maybe. So you learn a lot in these years. So there are maybe there are many thoughts come to your mind. So here it provides a way to answer this. You choose several things, just as how you say it. You can choose several stuff to answer. For example, last year I couldn't speak English well, but this year I joined Toastmaster and I practiced a lot. So I can stand confidently on stage and deliver my English. And then this year I knew nothing about social psychology, and because this year I took a course in National Taiwan University, and the professor taught me very well. I getting to know more about social psychology, and this is also what I knew this year. And among these things, I would like to share with you the new experience that is something. So you can see, he lists as an opening, he lists several things, and then start to focusing one main idea. It's rock climbing. So basically, this listing techniques is not going to list everything for your 2 minutes, but it's just an opening. It helps you to bridge because there's so many thoughts come to your mind, and then you don't have chance to think about which one is better. Then maybe you can start with this, and then it gets you more time to think about, oh, I think that is more important. For example, what comes to your mind when you are asked these questions? Is it only one bicycle, one bicycle, or there are other stuff?
Also speak English well, and
Okay.
not so nervous when I'm on the stage. Yeah.
I think these are good points, right?
Yeah.
And if you are asked immediately and you are required to respond immediately, you can consider to use these techniques to grasp more time. You can say, blah, 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 I learn more and I learn more about something, but I think I learn the most from one thing. And then in the body part, you can pave the way for this, right? So you can focus in on what you're going to say. But these sentences get you more time to think what you cherish the most. So you can get a good response on this because you have many experience you want to share.
But the time is limited.
Yes. But definitely for this one, you don't need to explain like 5 minutes, right? It's just like how you want to chat, but you will have more ideas about how would you explain this rather than this. For example, these 2 sentences, like, oh, because I can stand more confidently here.
Yeah.
Definitely, we have other techniques for body. You can expand even each idea. Even if it's a single idea, you can extend it to 2 minutes. It's okay. But here is just the techniques provided to you. And then the third ways to respond for an opening is define key terms. It's to cope with abstract questions. Here I have an example like ignorance. If the questions appears with these words, what is innocence? Like something like this. They are very abstract terms, right? So when you are responding with your answering the questions, you may start with a definition. How do you think of this? How do you think of this?
Maybe ignorance or
Yes.
innocence.
Yes. I'm not asking you, I'm saying these terms are very abstract. So for you to easier to explain what you're going to say later, you can start with a definition, how you think about this. So let's look at an example. What makes a person beautiful? And what is the terms that being abstract in this question? It's beautiful, right?
Confidence.
Oh, okay. You come up with an idea. It's confidence, right? But do you think beautiful means confidence? I mean, in this question, does beautiful means confidence? No, right? I mean, literally, it does not equal. But you feel that confidence, to you, confidence means beautiful. So you will start with your response. The first sentence would be, I think a person will be beautiful if he is confident. So you are using these techniques. You define beautiful as confidence. All right? We can look at an example. I think the first thing we need to do is define the word beautiful, because I don't know what is beautiful. Maybe a girl can be beautiful, but can a boy be beautiful? Or a man be beautiful? Or a building be beautiful? Right, you want to define it for it to be clear that the audience can know what you're going to say. So what is beautiful? I think beautiful refers to something that is attractive. Oh, attractive has a larger meaning than beautiful. I mean, in terms of language, is beautiful maybe we have a kind of biased impression towards where we use this word. But if we use the word attractive, then expand the way you can say about a person. Because attractive can be many things. For example, how you say it's confident is attractive. So I think this redefined the question, and you can respond easier. So good looking, we can pay attention to it, want to close to it. This way, beautiful can be related to warmness, kindness, blah, 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 blah. And I think these are some qualities that makes a beautiful person beautiful. So it's like you are explaining on this. By defining this, you can get things more clear about what makes a person beautiful. So now you can pinpoint to the qualities. So people will know, the audience will know what makes a person beautiful. Because these are too abstract. So you define it at the beginning. Okay? So here are some tips for opening. You can think, repeat the question. Just ask what you are asked, like immediately. You feel very nervous and my mind's closed blank. And one technique is when you go to the stage and then you are still thinking, you can repeat the questions. Like the judge asks you, what makes a person beautiful? And you just say, what makes a person beautiful? I think what makes a person beautiful is, I think beautiful is very abstract. I think we have to define what is beautiful first. And then blah, 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 you can start to say. So basically this is like to drag more time for you. So these are techniques you can use to save your time. And then bridging. What is bridging? Bridge is like, you know what is a bridge, right? You connect two ways, two riverbank is a bridge, something like that. So the bridge is like you connecting two ideas. Sometimes when you are asked as a question, and that question is too abstract, and then you may not have ideas immediately. And then you can bridge the question with pop into your mind first, the stuff and the question. You try to find some relationship between this and connect it together. For example, actually, Chang-Ting did a good example when you are discussing. I remember you discussed some questions and then you just say, oh, for example, how do you see China, that question. At the beginning, you directly think of one thing, right? Your professor says something. So you try to find a meaning for that. You directly answer it. It's a bridge techniques. Maybe you don't know how it is. Like, is it China will be better or not? But you directly connect what you think first. You connect it and then find a meaning for that to explain it, and that's all. So these are the techniques.
So in the previous example, the bridge, what bridge to what?
No. I mean, it depends. The bridging is just a technique saying that when you don't have any ideas, you don't have a very clear ideas about how you're going to say. But there is one idea pop into your mind immediately. So you can use that idea directly. You just use what comes to your mind directly. And then try the meaning for that, to explain for that question. For example, take the questions here, for example. We can think, for example, what is the most frightening experience you have ever had? For this example, how would you respond? What comes to your mind first?
Go on the stage stage.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So maybe you are not sure whether this is the most frightening experience you have ever had, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you are not sure. Maybe there are more frightening events, but you don't remember.
Huh.
But recently, you only remember is going onto stage is very frightening. So you just use that, and then you gave explanations. So that is bridging.
Again, please.
Do you catch what I mean? That's very simple. Just very simple. Just use what comes to your mind first, and then use it to explain. But you have to find a connection between the questions and this.
So the connection between your answer and the question is the bridging.
Yes. I mean, if you don't have a very clear idea about what you're going to say. For example, the previous question, you respond with beautiful, right? But you don't know how to answer. But what comes to your mind is what? Confidence. So you may start with, I think it's maybe confidence, right? And then if you don't use these techniques to define it, and you directly answer with, I think what makes a person beautiful is confidence. It's all right. You can start with this sentence, but later on you will have to find a meaning, find an explanation to connect these questions and confidence, right? But if you feel this is easier for you to explain, I mean, starting with confidence, this sentence. I think a person, confidence makes a person beautiful, and then you say blah, 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 blah. Then this is okay. You don't require you to have a very perfect answer, right? Then that is enough. Find some time for you, and then think out of the box. This only for specific questions. You know, think out of the box is not very easy. You can. I don't have a very good example now for that. Think out of the box. Because sometimes you are asked very weird questions. For example, let me think. Very weird question. For example, now China is growing very strongly in economics. And how will China become better in terms of economics? Do you have any idea?
Maybe China should. I don't know how to say it.
It's fine. Just give an idea.
Maybe you should release his. Maybe he should not to handle the. He should give more freedom to the market. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's your response, right?
Yeah.
And then there's an example of ways of responding to these kind of very weird questions. Because why? These questions at the first sentence say, China is growing very well. It's very strong in economics. And then why am I answering like providing more ways to make it better? So one kind of response could be, oh, China can do nothing. Just remain what China did right now is enough. And then you still can give an example on this, right? Continue to explain why so. But its opening would be very surprising to most of the people. Because when you are very nervous on the stage, then you are asked, you will think, oh, maybe just that, I just say about that. But when out of the box, why is it think out of the box? Is it because logical it seems you don't need to do anything. So you are out of that box. The box is you require to answer something. So basically you can say, oh, do nothing. It's a way. So these are specific questions, but most of the time, maybe you cannot that easy to think out of the box. But it's fine. But remind yourself, sometimes you have a wit to explain, to get a very witty question, a witty answer. Okay? So this is some review. It depends on the question types. You can do listing because we can go back to a question. What can you do today that you were not capable of a year ago? There might be a lot of possibilities. So you can use these techniques. So you list some of them and then choose one of the best from it and explain it. But and this you might also use these techniques as well, right? Because they are asking, what are you most grateful for? What are? It might not be a single item or person. But some of the questions, they may not very easy to use this thing because the question is very clear. For example, there are some questions here saying that which one is more important? And how do you do listing? Because there are only two objects, you just choose 1 to 2, right? So this type of question may not be able to use this kind of techniques for opening. All right?
What?
I mean, just you don't need to. I mean, these techniques are only can be used in certain situations. Okay. And then defining key terms is what you can do when you encounter a very abstract questions. Okay. And then bridging, these are some techniques for you to get more time to think. Okay. So I think you are already discussed a bit about this. Originally, if you have many people here, and then I will give you time now to do recording for these 2 questions. Would you like to do it now? Or later? But it will be a bit boring if I continue on this. So basically my structure is like for opening is like I explain this and then I give you time to practice. You can take out your phone. You can take out your cell phone.